I want it! I want it! Oh my God. I'm totally passing out.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition.
Suck my balls. Suck my balls.
Touch 'em.
Suck my balls.
Touch 'em.
Suck my balls.
Stroke 'em.
Suck my balls.
Gargle 'em.
Suck my balls.
Love 'em.
Suck my balls.
Eat 'em.
Suck my balls.
Love 'em. Ladies and gentlemen,
Balls. Suck my balls.
1 minute back into the show and we're already off the fucking.
Suck my balls. Suck my balls.
We're not off to a good start here, ladies and
Suck
gentlemen.
my balls.
That was such a delayed cough too. Like
Choking
you
on my
dabbed
spit.
minutes ago.
He came hard. He really did. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Suck My Balls, a South Park review. I, of course, am your, host in the heat. I can't be beaten. The guy who's high where the air is so very, 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 very dry. Your boy, boy, M to the S, to the G. You can follow us as a podcast, you see, by going on the Twitter, okay? Just do it. Go on Twitter. Oh, that wasn't meant to be cultural appropriation, by the way. That was just me being really high voice. Sorry.
That sounded like Mitch Connor doing Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, I am Jennifer Lopez. I like
Mitch
tacos
Connor.
and burritos. Just because I got lots of money doesn't mean you can't steal all my kisses, honey.
Wasted this poor kid's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the full cast is back. The MC, the Mac Dad, the O to the G to the S to the C to the double OP.
Tomba. Scoop that is.
The Scoopster.
Scoopy boy.
Started his new job, started new school. He's on the road to new successes, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
He's back. And of course, this man is a doctor. This man is a doctor of punkonomics. He's a doctor of thugonomics. He's a doctor of polyphonics. And he's also your 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 Trivia Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave him back the J last week. Dirty, double J, the Trivia God.
Joe Thias.
Vernola. What's up, Joe?
Not much, Matt and Initius.
Initius.
Since if I am Joe Thias and like, well, I
Matthias.
was trying to mix like Ian and Aloysius.
Ooh,
But-
Matt. See, mine's easy. It's just Matthias.
Yeah.
Josias.
Ian
Matthias. And Ianopolis.
Ianitis?
Ianitis. Yeah, Ianitis.
Like a Socrates, like a Ionocrates. Iocrates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Full cast in-house.
Stottle.
Not in-house, as we do. Ian Stottle. Okay, calm down now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another edition of Suck My Balls, a South Park review. And of course, shout out to a new music guy who's been hooking us up. His name, of course, is Freeze Beats. You can hit soundcloud.com/freezebeats, where he mixes a little bit of South Park and a little bit beats.
It appears that in the future, Americans have evolved into a careless, uniform mix of all races. They speak a complete mix of English, Chinese, Turkish,
The way he
and
does this
Hindi
is pretty cool.
languages, which sounds something like this.
That sounds pretty sweet to me.
All right. Balls. All right.
SoundCloud.com/freezebeats. Go check out some of his stuff there. As you heard that, Ian was really into it. He got into it there. He was going in, Joe. I didn't see. I had the screen down. Did you get into it?
Yeah, I definitely got into it. Yeah.
All right.
No, I was definitely doing my head nod and everything. I've got like this on one screen, and then I've got the news on the other, and like Florida is fucking wrecked.
I was like, what? Whoa, he's mad. He threw the mic, guys. I thought Joe was about to die. I'm not gonna fucking lie right now. I was scared, dude.
It's been a minute since we've all been here, so I'm a little rambunctious.
You were scared, Scoop? That makes one of us.
I think I should have worn the brown pants.
Oh my gosh. We are off the rails to start, but that's okay. SoundCloud.com/freezebeats, Twitter.com/suckmyballspod, Instagram.com/suckmyballspod, Facebook.com/SouthParkPod, Linktree.tr.ee/SouthParkPod, suckmyballspod@gmail.com. Joe, take us away and tell us about this episode on episode number Suck My Balls, number 146.
Cartoon Wars Part 2 is the 4th episode of Season 10 and the 143rd episode overall of South Park.
Whoa.
I am William Shatner. It aired on April 12th, 2006. It is obviously the second part of a two-parter that began with Cartoon Wars Part 1.
Part 1.
Thanks.
After leaving Kyle injured on the side of the road at the end of Cartoon Wars Part 1, Cartman races to Fox headquarters to get Family Guy pulled off the air once and for all. So the episode, as many of their two-parters do often, show a recap
on South Park, right?
Previously on South Park, they do show a recap. Some of which actually happened, some of which may not have happened. I can't remember this recap particularly, but it is something they've been known to do. Just include shit that wasn't on there.
Right.
So it is then interrupted by an announcement that reveals that the second part will not be shown tonight, and that we will get a Terrence and Phillip episode shown in its place. And it opens with Terrence and Phillip at the Lazy J Ranch solving a mystery with the help of their good friend Muhammad.
So we move forward here. I just like how they did another trope callback here. You know what?
Yeah. I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, Cartman's mom is. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I thought it was the end of season 2 though, into season 3, or is it the end of season 1 into season 2?
I thought it was 1 into 2.
Maybe you're right. Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut. It's been a while. We've been 145 episodes. Okay, sorry, they're all starting to come together. But yeah, you're probably right. I think it was the end of season 1 into season 2. Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut, right?
Yeah, season 2, episode 2. Mm-hmm. So, not without my anus.
Not without my anus was.
Not without.
So they pulled the trigger and did something from 8 years ago, if you will. But of course, this was just in back weeks. You only had to wait a week for this one. But it was pretty similar timing if you think about it, because when we talked about this episode the first time we reviewed it, was April 1st when we released the episode on April Fool's. And we released the Not Without My Anus review. And then a couple days later, we actually gave another review because we were like, that's not a real review of a show for an episode this week. We'll include it because it's a South Park episode, but we didn't feel like it was a true South Park review that week. So go back and check that out. Joe, continue on, and then we'll play some clips here.
Okay. We are having it interrupted. They see that they arrive at after Muhammad's been censored, Terrence and Phillip go to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, demanding the episode gets rerun with Muhammad uncensored. However, the CBC head explains that there are new rules around censorship. Phillip points out the Family Guy is going to do a show with Muhammad uncensored, and the head of the CBC tells them that someone is probably heading to Fox Studios right now to get the episode pulled, which we reveal to Cartman arriving at Fox Studios and asking reception to speak with executives about the Family Guy episode. The reception, yeah.
No, all right. I can see without my glasses. I wouldn't be able to read that 60 grams up there. I wouldn't be able to read that that's salt right there. Then that shit should be fuzzy. I put my glasses on, I can't fucking see. That's why I'm tripping out, dude.
All right, well, I'm a little freaked out here. So we're going to go ahead and go to this clip. You try to find out where your soul is, and we'll
seriously, bro, departing.
Previously on South Park. The popular cartoon Family Guy is going to show the image of Muhammad uncensored. And now, the thrilling conclusion of Cartoon Wars will not be seen tonight, so that we can bring you this Terrence and Phillip television special.
I was like, yes, they're clowning us again. I was like, when I first saw this back in the day, I was like, oh my god, yes. I fucking love you guys. You're doing this again? Okay, for right now, because I don't want to get censored by YouTube, I'm not going to show the clip or even the bars, okay? Because we didn't get hit by YouTube last week, and this is a banned episode, so like I feel like we should probably stop there and not even show the even censored version of it here. But I will play it in the background for me and Scoop to hear, and Joe, of course, can watch this at any point in time, too. Censored by the CBC.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, Muhammad. We've read all about you in the Quran.
I'm here to investigate a murder.
Just what the hell is going on here?
Oh, man.
So as Joe mentioned there, then following that, of course, now they're pissed, right? Because, like, why would you censor our shit? So then after the Canadian Bureau of whatever explains that someone's on their way right now, Cartman then, of course, is revealed to be at Fox stations here. So now we'll jump back into the clip as I feel safe to show this. Cartman just rides in under the security there.
I demand that the Muhammad episode be pulled before it airs tonight. It's incendiary, it's offensive to Muslims, and people can get hurt. It's wrong. It's wrong.
It's wrong.
Okay, but if you've got a problem with family, you have to wait in line.
Bart Simpson lookalike.
Can I go before you?
Eat my shorts.
So Kyle reaches a nearby diner, but everyone's heads are buried in the sand, and a man with a gun approaches Kyle, asking him why his head isn't buried. It then goes back to the Fox studio lot with Cartman trying to convince the Bart Simpson lookalike, who's never actually named, I don't think, to let him handle the situation by himself. They then get into a little bit of a pissing contest about who the true bad boy is, which Cartman wins by revealing to Bart that he tricked a kid into eating his parents, obviously, of course, referring to Scott Tenorman.
Right.
So it is at this point that he talks to the Fox executives on his own, pretending to be a Danish boy named Danny Pocket. This, of course, alluding to and him being a Danish boy, of course, alludes to what we were talking about last week with the Danish journalist being beheaded because of a cartoon.
That's crazy.
He made. Yeah, shit was fucking nuts.
So, you don't like Family Guy either, huh?
I hate Family Guy.
So what's your plan? You're gonna ask the president of the network nicely to take it off the air?
Not nicely.
Look, kid, if you hate a TV show, all you have to do is get an episode pulled. Pretty soon the show's compromised and it goes off the air.
Cool, man.
Yes. So my plan is to use this whole Muhammad thing as a way to scare the network into pulling tonight's show. I'm going to use fear to get them to do what I want.
Isn't that like terrorism?
It isn't.
No, it isn't like terrorism. It is
It
terrorism.
is terrorism.
This is manipulation at its highest level. Just let me handle this.
I'm a pretty bad kid.
Really? What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I stole the head off a statue once.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore. Jeez. That's like this one time when I didn't like a kid, so I ground his parents up into chili and fed it to him.
Yep, Scott Tannerman must die.
You got it, man.
Yeah, you just like, holy shit, dude.
Another
Yeah,
level
man.
of psychoticism right there. You got it,
Yes.
man. You got it.
Right.
Kind of reminds me of how psycho Carmen really is.
Yeah, it was a good reminder. So Cartman talks to the executives, pretending to be a Danish boy named Danny Pocket, whose father was killed after publishing a picture of Muhammad. He pleads with executives to pull the episode for their own sake. Fox is touched by this and decides to get him to convince the writing staff himself. Basically, like, if you can convince the writing staff to do this, then we'll pull the episode. But as they showed the president earlier, they don't have any power over the writing staff, and we are about to see why he has no power.
So we'll go to that, and I also want to see the presidential conference with George W. Bush back in the day when they're asking him about the writing staff of Family Guy.
Yeah.
I want to assure the American people that as president, I have exhausted every possible solution. Unfortunately, Muhammad will appear uncensored on Family Guy tonight.
Mr. President, can't the writers of the show be reasoned with? Don't they know they're putting the country in danger?
I have come to understand something about the Family Guy writing staff. Suffice it to say that they will not be persuaded by the possibility of violence.
What exactly did you learn about the Family Guy writing staff, Mr. President?
I'm afraid that information is classified. Asked the Family Guy writing staff not to write anything about Muhammad.
Couldn't you throw them in prison?
Look, the fact of the matter is the Family Guy writing staff is protected by something called the First Amendment.
And what exactly is this First Amendment, Mr. President?
You know, right to free speech.
Oh, God!
I love that even George W. Bush is looking at him like,
When
is
your
this guy fucking
administration came up with
serious?
this First Amendment,
Right.
did it not foresee a
This
problem like this
First
might
Amendment.
happen?
And they blame
Well,
his
We
administration
didn't come
right
up
away.
With the First Amendment. It was already in place.
What do you intend to do about this First Amendment, Mr. President? Forgive me, Mr. President, but this First Amendment sounds like a lot of bureaucratic gibbery-Jew.
That's so stupid.
Gibbery Jill.
Bureaucratic gibberish, Joe.
So terrible.
All right, so now we'll jump over here to Danny Pocket, as you talked about, Joe. Danny Pocket, who's going to give his speech to the Fox people.
Terrorist suicide bombed his building.
Danny Pocket.
I was in the lobby when it happened. First one terrorist suicide bombed us, and then dozens more. They just kept coming. Suicide bombers running into the building and blowing up one after another. They were like Mexican jumping beans.
Oh, God.
I just don't want to see people here at your studio getting hurt, because that would be, of course, your responsibility. Ow.
So, before we continue here and we show Cartman's writing staff here, we show the Family Guy writing staff, it should be noted, and you'll probably bring it up, the fact that the Family Guy writing staff cannot be swayed by terrorism, Joe.
No, they can. They cannot be swayed.
They cannot be swayed by terrorism, Scoop. Do you know why? Because they're fucking seals.
Manatees.
They're manatees. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's the big reveal here in this episode, is that the manatees are the ones writing for the Family Guy writing staff, and now they're going to show Cartman itself after
Of course.
Can't.
he's going to show Cartman.
Yes.
Guy writing staff.
They're going to show Cartman. They're going to take Cartman on a tour of Family Guy Studios and introduce him to the Family Guy writing staff. So let's jump into that here.
Family Guy is written by manatees? Of course. It all makes sense now.
They really are brilliant creatures. Laundry, date, winning, Mexico, Gary Coleman. A perfect Family Guy joke. I can see it now.
Peter, you didn't do the laundry today.
You think that's bad? Remember the time I won a date to Mexico with Gary Coleman?
¿Qué pasa, señores? What you talking about, Willis?
Wait a minute.
Oh God, that's pretty spot on. So while all this is going on, Kyle is getting a ride to Los Angeles from the man who pulled the gun on him earlier, asking him why his head wasn't buried in the sand. And when Kyle gets to Fox Studios, he runs into Bart Simpson, the Bart lookalike, who promises or offers to help Kyle find the studios and basically tricks Kyle before knocking him out with his skateboard and putting him into a maintenance closet.
Cowabunga.
Right. And as we've already discussed and seen, the president has informed the press that the Family Guy writers are protected under the First Amendment, and Cartman has discovered that they're manatees, so even if they had a First Amendment, it doesn't really fucking matter.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, so let's go to that scene here of Kyle getting knocked out.
I mean, I know it's just joke after joke, but I like that. At least it doesn't get all preachy and up its own ass with messages, you know?
I like that they make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Here comes Bart. Or whatever we're calling him.
Excuse me?
With the writing on the
president's office is? Who wants to know? Look, my fat bastard friend is trying to trick the network into getting Family Guy off the air.
The network president's office isn't there.
In a fucking small
Oh,
building.
thanks, dude.
No problem, man.
No problem, man.
Hello? This can't be right.
Cowabunga, motherfucker.
That's one of the best parts about this episode. Cowabunga.
Motherfucker. And like he's got some blood on his skate. Like he fucking clocked Kyle. Like Kyle's gonna have a TBI. Like
TBI.
Kyle's gonna have some problems later in life.
Have a concussion because of that.
CCI 2 or whatever it was.
CT.
Yeah.
CT, yeah, CT.
Yeah. So at this point, they find out that the manatees, they've found out that the manatees use a tank full of idea balls, and Cartman thinks, well, why don't we just take one of these balls out? And that point, the manatees basically stop working. Because somehow the manatees realize that there is a ball missing. Like Cartman is well, why don't we just take the ball out? And then we see what happens when a ball gets taken out. So Cartman then goes and finds Bart, who has Kyle trapped in a net, and explains that he has an idea ball to steal, because now the Cartman knows once a ball is stolen and they're not going to work. Well, if they're not going to work, they're not going to write a show. So he sneaks in to do this, and he succeeds, and it does make the manatees stop working. And he also, at the same time, goes to the Fox president and tells him, like, yo, what the fuck, bro? You shouldn't be getting pushed around by fucking manatees. And basically tells the president to fucking be a man and pull the episode himself.
Make the comments,
which the Fox president finally agrees to do after his manhood has been called into question.
Right. So let's jump into Kyle being caught in that net here, as you alluded to, and Bart and him like be both like him being in the crosshairs of both the Bart ripoff parody and Cartman.
Yeah.
Let me out of here, kid! Why are you doing this?
Well.
Cartman!
Hello, Kyle.
Hello,
Looks
Kyle.
like you've run into a little snag in your plan as well.
You fat son of a bitch!
You came so close to stopping me. There was just one thing you didn't count on. that more people besides me hate Family Guy.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people like Family Guy, too. Who are you to decide it shouldn't be on the air?
Shut up. You shut your fucking face, man. Did it work? Did you scare the network into pulling the episode?
Not yet, but I've come up with a new plan. I've learned how to make the Family Guy writing staff stop working. As soon as everyone goes on their lunch break, I can sneak back in.
Cool, man.
Cartman, let me out of this stupid net!
Good, Kyle. That's good anger you're showing there. You see that? That's emotional character development based on what's happening in the storyline. Not at all like Family Guy. Now, excuse me, Kyle.
Jesus, they're relentless in this episode.
Good guy, that's good, that's anger. That's character development based on what's relevant happening in the episode.
Yeah, they that was a good one.
Oh man, okay. And then as you mentioned, what was it? Cartman sneaks into the Family Guy tank here.
Sir, you are in charge of this network, not them. Maybe it's time you showed them who's in charge.
You're right. It's time I stopped letting these prima donna manatees tell me what to do. I'm pulling the Muhammad episode, you got that? And if you all don't want to work tomorrow, you can just find other jobs. How long before Family Guy's supposed to air? 25 minutes. I gotta hurry.
I did it. I
am God.
Family Guy is going off the air. No more Family Guy for me, mon frere.
All right, so Joe, what happens after that?
So Kyle had a talk, as we saw right there or heard right there. Kyle's had a talk with Bart and managed to break free after telling Bart that he's on a slippery slope, which will make him as bad as Cartman, appealing to Bart's semblance of a conscience. So Kyle tracks down Cartman and on the studio lot, and they finally have their fight au battle, which more or less just involves them kind of slapping each other. They fight all the way across the studio lot. They smash through the King of the Hill studios, and at one point Cartman appears to give up, but it is just to sucker Kyle in so he can kick him in the balls and knock him down. But much like earlier in the episode, Bart Simpson provides the equalizer with the skateboard.
Oh, I can't believe he turned on Cartman here.
The fucking double switch, this motherfucker.
The thing about it is, too, wasn't Bart in the 4th grade? Isn't he in the 4th grade? So they're both the same age, right?
Yeah, they are the same age.
The same age by fucking canonism here, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
They're both 10.
You fucking fat ass.
How the hell did you get out?
That kid and I had a long talk. I told him he was on a slippery slope to becoming a monster like you.
God damn it, you gave him one of your gay little speeches, didn't you?
You are not killing Family Guy.
You gave him one of your gay little
Family Guy's as good as dead.
There's still time to tell the network president you're full of crap. Quit it!
Nice little shout out here to King of the Hill. Made them look all nice.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Time in. Okay, time out. No more time out.
Oh, and the balls.
Ooh.
I had my fingers crossed.
The devil cat.
The Inland Empire instead of the OC.
Right?
Thanks, kid.
Network control, this is the president. I want you to pull the episode.
What? Mr. President, are you sure?
So, as you hear there, they're going to pull the episode, Joe.
Yeah, and it sounds like they are about to pull the episode, but just in time, Kyle reaches the president's office telling him that he shouldn't pull the episode. And basically defending free speech and a couple other things and telling him not to censor. In the middle of this speech, Cartman arrives with a gun, but after giving a small speech about not giving in to terrorism, Kyle wins to Cartman's anger. And at that point, Cartman then attempts to shoot the president and Kyle, but the gun has no bullets. So eventually the episode airs, and all it is a scene featuring Muhammad giving Peter Griffin a salmon football helmet. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Muhammad because unlike this version of Fox, Comedy Central refused to show the image of Muhammad.
That's right. So let's go ahead and here we'll play some of that.
I shouldn't even be in the office still. It's supposed to be half-day Friday.
Oh, he's supposed to be here.
President, 30 seconds to airtime. What do you want
Easy,
us to
Dante.
Do the right thing, Mr. President.
How about I allow the episode to air, but just censor out the image of Muhammad again?
I wish that was good enough. But if you censor out Muhammad, then soon you'll have to censor out more. No gay speeches, Cow! So, Muhammad, then you've made a distinction between what is okay to poke fun at and what isn't. Either it's all okay, or none of it is.
5 seconds,
Good
Mr.
point.
President.
Do the right thing. Show Muhammad. Do the right thing.
Mr. President, we need a decision now.
Family Guy goes on air as planned. Uncensored.
Yes! No! No, I hate Family Guy!
He tried to shoot him.
Air it.
That is not how this works at Fox, by the way.
No.
That's not at all.
Peter, you got a pink slip at work?
You think that's bad? Remember the time I got a salmon helmet from Muhammad
I
while
think they're gonna
wearing
censor
a toga?
themselves, so I don't have to do this.
Yeah,
Muhammad.
they do.
Yeah, they censored himself. Yep. In this shot, Muhammad hands a football helmet to Family Guy.
Comedy Central has refused to broadcast an image of Muhammad on their network.
That wasn't bad at all. Now, Joe, we might have glossed over this throughout the time of this review, but throughout the episode, there was I guess maybe the country of
There were warnings from the head of Al Qaeda. Don't show this. We are going to retaliate. We're going to cause a huge retaliation, which is the reason why everyone's heads were in the sand. So now that Fox has run this airing of Muhammad uncensored, well, Al Qaeda is like, well, you know what? Fuck y'all. So the terrorists retaliate with a short cartoon showing people like the president and Tom Cruise taking a shit on each other, as well as Jesus shitting on all of them and the flag, continuing to state that this was way funnier than Family Guy.
So before we show this clip, I have to mention that for a long time, this scene right here from South Park was probably one of the funniest scenes to me as like an adolescent. I remember being in 2006 when this aired, and I remember probably being pretty blasted on something and watching this episode and just dying from laughter from this next scene. So I just want to preface that it's one of my favorite scenes. It doesn't make me laugh as much as it did back in the day, but it's definitely a good scene.
Mr. President, the terrorists are retaliating. What? And as soon as the image of Muhammad appeared, terrorist leader al-Zawahiri announced the retaliation.
We warned you not to show Muhammad, he says. Family Guy did it anyways.
Was this real?
No. So now here's our retaliation, America. Osama bin Laden and al-Zawahiri present an Al Qaeda films production.
Hello, I am American. I am American too. We like to crap on each other. Hello, I'm the President Bush. I will crap on both of you. Oh, we love to crap.
I'm American. I'm pregnant with a baby, but I'm not married.
Let's crap. Look at me, I'm Jesus. Who would you like me to crap on you, Mr. Bush? Yummy, yummy crap.
Yummy crap.
The end.
The end.
Ain't question mark? See? Oh yeah, take that. We burned you. That was way funnier than Family Guy.
It was.
That was
funnier than
funny.
Family
That was
Guy.
actually funnier than Family Guy. So yeah, that's your full recap there on what happened on this episode of South Park here. We'll be right back for a quick word from Spreaker sponsors, as well as a word from us. Or a word from me. We'll be right back. Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed, and you'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. All right, and we are back. Scoop, do you want to read some pop culture after I read some trivia?
All right.
I'll start with some trivia, though. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be the trivia master today, as Joe, of course, was the narrator of the full recap. So I am not the trivia god, but I will try my best here. President Bush was seen, of course, in this episode, and he's also going to be seen again in Mystery of the Urinal Deuce and The Snook, where various shows and the press portray him as an incompetent idiot in South Park. Is an incompetent idiot, I'm sorry. But in South Park, he's actually fairly intelligent, and the press are, in fact, the idiots.
There's a nuke of Hillary Sniz.
Right, and then but however, though, in earlier episodes such as A Ladder to Heaven, Bush is still portrayed as, where were you
when they
built that ladder to heaven? Did it make you feel like crying? Did you
kind of gay?
Well, I for one believe in the ladder to heaven. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 9/11. 9/11. 9/11. 9/11. 9/11. While Bush normally voiced by Trey Parker, Matt Stone actually does his voice in this episode. The scenes with Muhammad and Family Guy were censored by the South Park creators after Comedy Central alerted them that they would censor themselves anyway. Matt and Trey explained that they'd rather censor themselves than be censored by Comedy Central. Ironically, this issue is what caused 201 to now be considered a lost episode, as Comedy Central censored it without telling Matt or Trey. Kyle and Cartman are the only regular characters to appear in this episode, while Stan and Kenny do not appear. They are briefly seen in the recap at the top of the episode. Muhammad has already appeared uncensored in South Park in Super Best Friends and in the intro, as we mentioned. The Family Guy fan who gives Kyle a lift pokes fun at the recurring I learned something today plot device where the show delivers a moral message. Terrence was also shown to be overweight in this episode, and then, of course, he became overweight in Terrence and Phillip Behind the Blow. This episode was made in order to let Matt and Trey try to convince Comedy Central to let them show Muhammad. They were unsuccessful, thus Muhammad was not shown. Despite many celebrities being featured and mocked on the show previously, Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane does not appear in this episode. However, Mitchell, who works in Family Guy's studio and introduces Cartman to the writing staff, does somewhat resemble him. This is the first episode in season 10 with both Stan and Kenny absent. The other two, of course, are going to be A Million Little Fibers, and of course, this season we get to Go God Go.
7.
Alongside Cartoon Wars Part 1, this episode was not included from the HBO Max streaming service. As we told you, if you've been watching our clips here, I had to go through nefarious means to record it for you. I do actually have Season 10 on DVD. I just didn't want to upload it and do all the crap and a lot more. And I actually have a Mac, so I don't have a disk drive. I mean, I have an older computer I could do it on. But I digress. If you want to get the uncensored banned episodes, just buy them on DVD, Blu-ray. They're there.
I was gonna ask. They didn't mention it, but so you could probably get it on the DVD, right?
Yeah, you can get it on DVD and Blu-ray.
Okay, cool.
So, and all right, Scoop, go ahead with some references to the culture of population and popular culture.
The second Family Guy hater who went to appeal to Fox Studio was the South Park version of Bart Simpson. The creator said in the commentary that the Simpson staff sent them flowers for ripping on Family Guy. Furthermore, King of the Hill staff called them to say that Matt and Trey were doing God's work during the fight between Kyle and Cartman. They crash into an imitation of the King of the Hill production building. Bart mentions cutting off the head of the statue, a reference cutting off Jebediah Springfield and the head of the total head. The use of Terrence and Phillip's episode instead of actual sequel to the episode is reference to Terrence and Phillip in Not Without My Anus. Episode that was placed as a joke instead of the sequel to Cartman's Mom is Still a Dirty Slut. This joke would be used again in Eat, Pray, Queef. Except Terrence and Phillip is being replaced instead of replacing the second part of a two-parter.
By the Queef Siestas.
The president of Fox final episode polling confirmation sequence 00 destruct is taken from Star Trek 3, where the final confirmation code for the auto destruct sequence on Enterprise was 000 destruct 0. I wonder if they couldn't get someone to memorize a good enough code that they were just like, fuck it, just do 000 destruct 0. Cartman and Kyle fighting is... Oh, wait. Oh, no. Excuse me. Before Cartman and Kyle, Cartman says, I guess it was inevitable. Quoting a line said by Agent Smith, do you hear that, Mr. Anderson? It is the sound of inevitability. Oh, that is such a great part in the movie. Like, yes. Yeah. Cartman and Kyle fighting is a reference to the running gag on Family Guy, where Peter Griffin would do sometimes involved in a destructive fistfight with an
chicken.
Anthropomorphic chicken.
The chicken, you know what I'm talking about. The chicken guy outside of the store.
The big chicken. Cartman tells Kyle, let this be our final battle, referencing quote by Skeletor and the Masters of the Universe. Wop, 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 wop. This is not the first time Cartman used the line. He also quoted it in The Psychics in Cartman's Incredible Gift.
Oh, stop it! Whoa.
During the fight between Cartman and Kyle, poster presenting Cold Age, the SmackDown parody of Ice Age The Middle Down is shown in the background. Standing in the Scrat from Ice Age, standing in for Scratch in Ice Age is Squirrely from Woodland Critter Christmas. Oh, that's why you look familiar.
Right.
Okay.
And here's a two. Go ahead.
And for the continuity,
I was going to read it, yeah. So for the continuity, this is the cliffhanger's narrative final appearance. Cartman mentions having a ground-up boy's parents and feeding them to him as chili. Of course, this was referenced in a nod to Scott Tannerman Must Die. And Terrence is still in the process of losing weight, and he gained the weight in Terrence and Philip behind the blow. And as we mentioned, this is the cliffhanger's narrator's final appearance. This is the last time the guy who does the voiceover, who they hired previously on South Park, that's his final appearance, I think, is what they're saying. So there's your continuity. Pop culture, references to trivia. Joe, what'd you like about this episode?
Again, it was mostly the political statements. It was saying about we either make fun of everything or we can't make fun of anything. But it wasn't by any means, at least to me, the greatest episode. It's probably looked at a little more highly than I think it should be, just because it's a banned episode because of this whole Muhammad thing and everything. And it just like, if it weren't a banned episode, I don't think it would be looked at nearly as highly as it is.
What about you, Scoop? What did you think about this episode?
Damn, I had some good ones. It'd probably be easier to say what I don't like.
Okay. Go ahead.
It could have been cool if Kenny was in it. Kenny could have been.
Well, Kenny was in the first one technically, but not really. He didn't really have any lines in that one. That was just more about Cartman being upset about the fact that they're making fun of Jewish people, right? That was.
Yeah. But I understand this is an episode about Cartman and Kyle. This is like their
battle.
Yeah.
This is what it's been leading to since 10 seasons essentially. They're fighting, right? I would say like I said, I have some nostalgia for this episode. To me, the end scene always made me laugh as a kid. So there's a soft spot in my heart for this episode. I'd say this is like a top 50 episode for me personally, because I think the comedy is really funny. I like the crossover of South Park and Cartman, and I like the Bart Simpson, the King of the Hill, the Fox Studios. One thing I will say, and I brought it up there, when they put together shows, specifically at Fox Studios like that, what actually would happen is the show would just be sent to the master control operation, and that master control operator would edit it, scan it over, make sure it looks good, and then they'd upload it and approve it and put it in the system. So if somebody wanted to cancel it, all they'd have to do is go out into the automated system and just change it. So it wouldn't be like as big as putting a key and doing anything. It would literally be the supervisor just going and be like, oh, you want to pull the episode? Okay, cool. We'll replace it with an evergreen, and we'll put another show in, and then you're done. Boom. Anyway, I just thought I'd explain that, how that works.
It's more dramatic with the key opening.
It's more dramatic with the key. Holy episode. I know, I get it.
They're not gonna like this.
Mr. President. Well, that's it. What about you, Joe? What is in your top 50, 100, 125, 200, 300, 500? There's
probably like top 125 or so. It's definitely still top half of episodes, but it's like I said, I don't know if it would be as lauded if it weren't canceled.
Okay. Mr. Scoopity Doop Doop.
I'm definitely gonna put it in the top 50.
Okay. Top 50. Top 50, bro.
And it's... There's a lot of nostalgia too, but it's because of that poking the bear. You know, I love it when they go out of their way to poke the bear and to hear then, you know, like the Simpsons staff and the King of the Hill staff, you know, flowers and you guys are doing God's work, sir. You keep up the good fight. America. It's one of those episodes where you kind of feel like Matt and Trey, they take a stand, you know, and they make fun of themselves all the while they're ripping Family Guy. So I feel like back in the day too, in 2006, 2007, this was a pretty controversial like episode when it came out. These two episodes when they came at Family Guy, like people were talking about this on whatever type of social media we had back then, MySpace or early days of Facebook. Like people talked about, hey, like wow, this is crazy. Like South Park's going hard at Family Guy here, and you'd see little news articles and stuff like that. The infancy of our internet, before it got really popular with social media and whatnot. But yeah. This was definitely a big thing back then because people, and Seth MacFarlane, as we mentioned in the last episode, said he thought the episode was funny, and he has actually had no issue with them, but doesn't understand why they have an issue with him. So it's kind of funny. It's just a one-way thing where the creators of South Park are like, no, we don't like your style. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition.
Suck my balls.
Yup.
Suck my balls.
Yum.
Suck my balls.
Suck 'em.
Suck my balls.
Suck my balls.
Gargle those bitches. I'll cradle the balls, dude. Just get me down.
I'm your host, Naheem, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is dry, your boy, Matthew Schaffer. You can follow us as a podcast on Twitter, Instagram by going to Suck My Balls Pod, linktr.ee/South Park Pod, Facebook South Park Pod, and of course you can send us an email, suckmyballspod@gmail.com. Leave us a review, 5 stars in the form of a Randy Gerald Yelp fashion. Give us the 5 stars. That's what we want. Scoop, it was good to have you back this week.
It's good to be back.
We appreciate you.
Thanks for letting me come back.
Oh yeah, you're always welcome here. We continue to wish you luck on your journey.
Yeah,
and you're always here, in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls. Ladies and gentlemen, the trivia. God, Joe, what's going up? I know you got some big show coming up here where apparently we might have some South Park characters. Let us know.
Sunday, October 9th at the Roxy Theater in 5 Points, Denver. Primo's Premier Pro Wrestling presents Carnival and the world famous Cease and Desist Gimmick Infringement Battle Royal. It may feature the rematch you never knew you wanted to see until I am going to announce it right here. That's right.
What?
Randy Marsh versus Bat Dad 2.
It's going down. I want you, Marsh. I'm coming for you.
That's right. They are both out of jail and ready to raise hell.
Well, there
Don't
you
forget
go.
to wake up one morning, crack a bunch of eggs in a cup, crack open a beer, pour the eggs into the stove, and then drink a beer.
Yep.
That would be a fun ass video. That's got to be
also.
Do a montage of Joe training and getting ready, Randy Marsh style, brother.
Did I not send you the exact same fucking text message? Those are the two messages I said. I said you got to do a fucking video of like put the eggs in the blender and then just pouring it into the pan and drinking the beer, and then you got to do another video of a montage.
You got to do a montage.
Tina Rocky had a montage.
Montage.
And also for the more serious wrestling fan, we will have former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Tokyo Monster Kahagas, taking on Adrian Grimm for the Primo's Premier Pro Heavyweight Championship.
Titles on the line, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And so that will be a pretty
Primo's
big
Pro
one.
Wrestling? Where can I get the tickets at? What website?
You can get those at theroxydenver.com right now. If you are not in the Denver area, however, it will be streaming live on primosprowrestling.net. And we'll get that right.
Let's just say that the South Park boys are working on getting the copy of the Randy versus Baghdad #2. We'll have more information in a future date. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for another edition of Suck My Balls. We appreciate you each and every week stopping by, listening to our music, and telling us how much you love us. If you do love us, or if you don't love us, that's fine. But we are going to go out again, once again, with Freeze Beats. We appreciate you checking out another edition of Suck My Balls. We'll be back next week with a million little fibers. And we'll find out who's a towel.
I'm a towel.
I'm a towel. You're a fucking towel.
Now we gotta kill you all. Die!
I hope you fucking die!
Go on, squeal. Squeal now.
Fucking asshole! I hope you fucking die!
Suck my balls. 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 Suck my balls.